I think Peter Jackson is starting to realize that he dodged a heck of a bullet by not getting involved in the Rings of Power show coming from Amazon. And now we have finally heard from the man himself, the legend behind the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Peter Jackson, the director and producer, what he thinks about Rings of Power, the Amazon show, the woke version of Lord of the Rings that is going to be coming from Amazon in like a month, which is kind of insane. But let's go ahead and see what Peter Jackson has to say here, because there's a lot of very crazy stuff here, a lot of interesting details that he gives on everything that's going on with this ridiculous show. Peter Jackson says Amazon's Lord of the Rings TV series ghosted him. Interesting. Now, you might be asking, why? Why is this? Well, my friends, we're going to get into all of that here in just a second. Peter Jackson is weighing in on Amazon's The Lord of the Rings TV series. The Oscar-winning director of The Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies revealed the studio asked him to be involved with its upcoming mega budget, then never contacted him again. So this is what Peter Jackson said. They asked me if I wanted to be involved. Writer-producer Fran Walsh and I said, that's an impossible question to answer without seeing a script. Very wise thing for him to say, because, look, we live in a day and age where obviously every franchise is basically being completely thrown through the wood chipper right now. Everything is being completely shitted on by Hollywood, and Lord of the Rings, unfortunately, is the next piece of that puzzle for Hollywood, and Peter Jackson was very hesitant about getting involved. So they said, as soon as we get the first couple scripts, we'll send them to you. And the scripts never showed up. That's the last thing I heard, which is fine. No complaints at all. And that's the part that makes me think, okay, I think Peter Jackson's starting to see just how massive the backlash is for Rings of Power. I mean, look at pretty much every trailer that they've released on the official, Amazon Prime YouTube channel, and every single trailer that they've released has been completely ratioed because everyone is seeing what is going on. Everyone is sick and tired of the garbage coming from Hollywood, and they see just how crap this show really is. Peter Jackson already had to deal with some of that type of stuff with The Hobbit. Not nearly on the same level as Rings of Power, obviously, but he did still have to deal with a little bit comparatively to his Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I'm sure that he has just seen all of this disaster, and he's like, yeah, I'm so glad that none of this actually came through with me. And it's also interesting that they never sent him the scripts here in the first place. Like, what prompted them to not send the scripts, and what was their reasoning behind that? And I think a lot of it probably had to do with that they knew that when Peter Jackson read their scripts, he probably wouldn't get involved anyway. So, that's kind of where I'm at with all of this, because they know they're writing garbage. They know they're writing stuff that is not faithful to Tolkien. And Peter Jackson, they knew, would not have anything to do with that. In an upcoming The Business podcast, talking to the Hollywood Reporter's Kim Masters, the filmmaker echoes the anecdote and phrases it slightly differently. Yet the same point. About 4 or 5 years ago, they asked if I would be interested in it. So I said, have you got the scripts yet? Because I know how hard the scripts were to write for the films, and I didn't know the people writing their scripts. They said, oh no, we haven't gotten the scripts yet, but as soon as we do, we'll send you the scripts. So I was waiting for the scripts to arrive, and they never did. Now this is the part that the fans of Rings of Power are holding on to, all of the NPCs, because this is the part that they think is a huge win for them, and because Peter Jackson followed up what his comments were about Amazon ghosting him by saying, I'll be watching it. I'm not the sort of guy who wishes ill will. Filmmaking is hard enough. If somebody makes a good film or TV show, it's something to celebrate. The one thing I am looking forward to is actually seeing it as a perfectly neutral viewer. So obviously, a lot of Rings of Power fans are all like, see, Peter Jackson is saying all these positive things about the show. He didn't say anything positive about the show here. Peter Jackson just happens to be a positive person overall, as a person himself, and so he doesn't wish ill will on anyone. He isn't saying anything that is going to stir controversy here. He's not, slamming Rings of Power or anything like that. He's just simply saying that he'll check it out and he'll be a neutral viewer, and that's about it. He isn't saying anything positive about the show here. So there is no win here. There is no W for, the Rings of Power fans here. The only thing that we know is that they ghosted him about this entire thing. They didn't actually send him the scripts, when they said that they were going to. And there's a lot of reasons for why that could be. And I think a lot of it has to do with they know that they're writing trash and that Peter Jackson would not have anything to do with that nonsense. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.